Hey there, I'm Brittni Schroeder, and business and marketing are my jam. I'm here to walk you step by step through this crazy thing we call business. I'm a small town girl, chocolate eating, Diet Coke drinking mom, marketing guru, automation Jedi, and all around good time. This is your weekly dose of all things business and life, sprinkled with some fun. This is the Redefine Business Podcast. Welcome to another episode of Redefine Business Podcast. The other day, I was having a discussion/argument with my teenage daughter. I'd asked her to do something and she didn't do it. I was so frustrated with her. And among the many life lessons I try to teach my children, being dependable is probably at the top of my list. And I was lecturing my daughter about how important it is to be dependable. And like most life lesson lectures, she shook her head in agreement, but then rolled her eyes and walked off. Just another day in the life of being a mom of a teenage daughter, right? It wasn't 2 days later that she was on the receiving end of this dependability life lesson. She'd been making plans with one of her friends for several days. And at the last minute, the friend blew her off and she was frustrated and disappointed. And I know she didn't want to hear it, what I had to say, but it was the opportune time to repeat that important lesson of how important it is to be dependable. I'm fascinated. One of the topics that I'm constantly fascinated with, in fact, I was on this kick for a while that I wanted to write a book about this, but it's confidence and self-confidence and why some people have all this confidence and other people don't. So I've kind of had this lifelong obsession with just confidence. And it's such an attractive and essential characteristic to have confidence in business and in life. And over the years, I've just studied and trying to learn more and more about confidence. And one of the key factors that shows up in confident people time and time again is dependability. So confidence is believing in yourself. It's saying that you will do something and then doing it. This comes down to doing the responsible and useful thing for yourself, even when you don't feel like doing it. If you can't count on yourself, you'll feel insecure. You'll start to feel out of control and chaotic. But if you learn to trust yourself and have consistent follow through, you will gain confidence. What you think of yourself is what generates or depletes confidence. And that's where dependability comes into play. So dependability is one of the most essential qualities a person can possess, both in business and in personal life. Being dependable means being reliable, trustworthy, and consistent in your actions and commitments. In a world where there is so much uncertainty and change is just constant, dependability gives us stability in our lives. Dependability is so important, and it can impact your professional and your personal success. So it's so important. So let's kind of break it down. I want to talk about first in business, and then we'll talk about personal too. But trust is the foundation of any successful business relationship. You have to have trust. And whether it's between colleagues, your team, or you and your clients, trust is foundational. So being dependable builds trust because people know they can count on you to follow through on your commitments. When you consistently meet deadlines and you're delivering quality work and you get things done, you keep promises, you start to establish yourself as someone that others can rely on because they know that you are going to show up and you're going to say what you're going to do what you say that you are going to do. And it's so important. Another really important part about being dependable, in personal or in business, you are going to earn a positive reputation over time. And in the professional world, your reputation can impact your progression and your opportunities. And you want to build a brand that people can trust and count on because you are dependable, right? Clients and colleagues are more likely to recommend and collaborate with someone they know are going to be reliable. A solid reputation as a dependable professional can open up so many doors and opportunities for you. As you know, I recently hosted an online summit. This was a few months ago, and I worked with 9 other female entrepreneurs. And one of the big lessons that I learned from this event was how important it is for me to find speakers that I can depend on. Because the success of the event was determined by all the speakers following through on the marketing aspect of the event. Long story short, several of the speakers, they didn't follow through on the marketing portion of the agreement. They said that they would do something, they said that they would market it, and they didn't. And with that said, I have decided that I won't collaborate with those speakers moving forward because I've coined them now that they're undependable because they didn't follow through. And I think about that in my business. And I would never want anybody to think that, that I wasn't dependable. And it really is, it's hard to build up a brand. You want to build a solid brand, but man, your brand can burn down so fast if people are saying like, yeah, she doesn't deliver, or yeah, she didn't show up for stuff, or she said she would do something and she didn't. And so I think that is so important. You have to build a brand reputation that people can count on you. If you have a team in your business, dependability is key because teams thrive on dependability. When each team member knows they can rely on others to do their part, collaborations become more effective and efficient. Dependable team members contribute to a positive working environment where trust and respect are present and you can count on them. And this leads to better communication, reduced conflicts, and you're just way more likely to achieve your goals. I 100% can depend on the team members or the people that I work with. If I know I'm going to ask them to do something, they're going to do it. And if they can't do it, they communicate with me. And we're going to talk about communication. But it's so important to know that things are taken care of because there's nothing worse than realizing that someone dropped the ball and you like something happened because somebody did not show up and they weren't dependable, right? So it's really important if you are any employee or you have a team member that you are somebody who's dependable. So dependable team members are productive team members. They manage their time well, they prioritize tasks, effectively, and they're consistently delivering results. This reliability helps businesses run smooth and it helps you to meet your goals. Dependable team members, they also set a positive example for other team members and for their peers. And this creates a culture of accountability, but also of high performance because you're really pushing each other because you don't want to let somebody else down. They're going to do your part, so you want to do your part, right? Dependability equals client satisfaction. When clients know they can rely on a business to deliver products or service as promised, their trust and loyalty increase. And that's just a proven fact. Think of different businesses or products that you have used or you purchased and being able to trust them. You're going to have customer satisfaction because they are going to deliver what they say they're going to deliver. So it's really important. Dependable service leads to repeat business, positive reviews, and word of mouth referrals, all of which are so crucial for business growth. So be dependable, do it for your clients, do it for your customers, because that is going to help your business grow. Okay, so we're going to shift a little bit. We're going to talk a little bit about being dependable in your personal life. So in personal relationships, dependability is just as crucial. Friends and family members value someone they can count on during good times and bad. So being dependable in personal relationships, it means being there for your loved ones, keeping your commitments and consistently showing up when you are needed. The reliability strengthens bonds and it builds deeper, more meaningful connections. I've noticed as I've gotten older, my circle of people has gotten smaller and smaller. But when I look at my circle, for the most part, it's people I can count on no matter what. My strongest relationships are my dependable ones. And it's interesting, as I was thinking about this podcast and I was kind of jotting down some notes, I reached out to one of my friends and I asked her, she's a friend / colleague, we've done some projects together. And I asked her that question is, in your life, how many people can you truly depend on? And we were kind of talking about just different family and friends that, yeah, they're a good relationship. They are, they're great. I have no issues. but I don't know if I could depend on them. And so it's just something, it just made me like self-reflect on just the people in my life. Like, who can I truly depend on that will show up? And it's interesting that it wasn't that many people. So that's crazy. But I hope that I am not that. I hope that I am considered a dependable person to others, because it is really, really important. So dependability is a key component of personal integrity. It means when you say you're going to do something, you do it. When you consistently do what you say you will do, what happens is you're demonstrating honesty and integrity. And it's interesting because I think of dependability, and I think of like, I have a few friends that like I really couldn't count on. And I've never really thought of them as a dishonest person. But if you think about it, it is to a certain degree, it is dishonesty, because if you say you're going to do it and then you don't do it, you're really not being honest, because you're breaking a commitment. And that is really like what honesty is. So this consistency of being dependable, it earns you respect and trust from others. And it really enhances your overall character as a person, because people know that they can count on you. The next one, which is so interesting, the next part of it, and I know this, but I as I was writing this, I was thinking of my friends who maybe aren't as dependable, and I was noticing that they have a lot of unnecessary stress in their life. And so this is just like an interesting, perspective on dependability, but knowing that you can rely on yourself and others, it can significantly reduce stress. When you are dependable, you really create a sense of order and predictability in your life. This reliability helps manage expectations and reduces a lot of the anxiety that is associated with stress. Like, think about that in your own life. Like, is this self-inflicted stress because like I said I was going to do something and I didn't, or, what is it? But similarly, surrounding yourself with dependable people provides a support system that you can trust and depend on, and that makes your life easier. So that is something to really like think about, is the people around you. Can you count on them? Because if your life is really stressful, it could be your circle. It could be they're just like not dependable. Dependability is also closely linked to self-discipline and self-confidence, both of which are so important in achieving personal goals. So whether it's advancing your career or maybe pursuing a hobby or improving your health, being reliable in your efforts and commitments will increase your chances of success. So if you want to reach these goals, learn to be dependable, learn to depend on yourself. Setting goals, creating plans, and consistently following through on them are all aspects of dependability, and they really do contribute to personal achievement. So just think about that. So how do we cultivate dependability? How do we do that? I'm pushing late 40s, and I know this about myself, that it's getting harder and harder to change habits and belief systems, because it's taken me this long to create them, but it's never too late, right? So cultivating dependability, it starts with self-awareness. Understand your strengths and your limitations, and more importantly, be honest with yourself about what you can realistically commit to. Setting realistic expectations for yourself and others is the first step towards becoming reliable. So this is something that I struggle with, is I am an overcommitter. I commit to a lot of things, but I'm also very dependable. And so in a sense, I am creating more stress from myself because I'm an overcommitter. But if this is something that you find you can recognize that you're not dependable, don't like overdo it. Like set little like realistic expectations for yourself. So it's never too late to change your behaviors, and awareness is the first step. Start small, choose something like maybe exercising or making your bed or practicing Spanish, whatever it is. Say, I'm going to do this 3 days a week, and then commit and follow through and start to change those behaviors. And you will start to see, you'll start to see a change. You'll start to really like recognize that you are becoming dependable, but your overall like confidence too. One of the things I think of is my daughter. She tends to try to get out of like, wrestling practice or really anything like that. And I've noticed this year that I have, I say to her, if you are going, I don't care if you do this or if you don't, but once you're committed, then you're committed and you're doing it. And I've noticed that there are mornings where she didn't want to get up at 5:30 a.m. to go to wrestling practice, but I'm like, nope, you're going. I pushed her. I've noticed her confidence. I've noticed that she has become somebody who values being dependable. And I've noticed a change in her confidence. So it's been really fun to watch that transformation this year. The next thing is effective time management. It's really important for dependability. Prioritize your tasks, set deadlines, and avoid overcommitting. That is me. I'm a serial overcommitter, but avoid it. Use tools such as calendars, to-do lists, and reminders to stay organized and make sure that you are able to meet your commitments. The next one is consistency, and this is key. Establish routines and habits that support your commitments, whether it's showing up on time, meeting deadlines, or regularly communicating with others. Consistency builds a track record of reliability. And think of just trust in general. I say this to my kids often, where it's really hard to, you can build trust. You have trust over time. It's easy to break someone's trust, but it's even harder to rebuild trust once it's lost. And so being consistent, don't just do it. I'm going to do it for a week and then quit, but really learn to implement all of these, skill sets with dependability, consistently over time. The next one is clear and concise communication is really important. And for dependability, if you're unable to meet a commitment, communicate this as early as possible and offer a solution or an alternative. Keeping others informed builds trust and shows that you respect their time and expectations. I have the greatest virtual assistant right now. So great. And one of the things that I love about her, and it's created a really, really great work environment. First of all, she's very, very dependable, but she communicates with me. If she has something coming up, she'll let me know, hey, just let you know, I have this coming up. She's a great communicator, and it really builds really great trust between us because I know I can depend on her for anything because first of all, she's dependable, but the communication is so important. Okay, the next one is hold yourself accountable for your actions. Reflect on your performance, acknowledge mistakes, and learn from them. Accepting responsibility demonstrates commitment to being dependable. So I think accountability is so important. I think it goes hand in hand in self-awareness is you can recognize that you have a weakness or something that you struggle with, oh, I really struggle with dependability, but also acknowledging it and being accountable for, what, I didn't show up or I didn't do this instead of constantly making excuses. I think that accountability, that humility, that's when you're really going to see the change because you recognize that you need to change and you're being accountable for it. So I think it's so important, that accountability aspect of it. In both business and life, dependability it's a cornerstone for success. It builds trust. It enhances in your business, your brand reputation. It fosters teamwork. It increases productivity. You have satisfied customers. In personal life, it strengthens your relationships. It upholds your integrity, it reduces stress, and it helps you really achieve the goals that you want to. Cultivating dependability, it requires self-awareness, effective time management, consistency, great communication, and accountability. These are all things that are going to help you to cultivate, to really start to become a dependable person. By prioritizing these different aspects, you can become someone others can always count on. And this is going to pave the way for more success in your business and in your life because you are considered dependable. I hope you guys found this helpful. This is something that I'm really passionate about. It's something that I'm constantly teaching my kids. I recognize the importance in this in business and in life. So I hope that you take away some really great tips and tools and you can implement those in your life and you can become a more dependable person. I will see you all next time.
Let's not stop the party here. Head on over to my Instagram or Facebook group, Redefine Your Business, and let me know your thoughts about today's show. I will see you again, same time, same place, next week.